Welcome to Shooby Dooby Doo Up, a podcast where we talk about pop music. We're halfway through our deep dive of the UK Top 10 Singles Chart of the 2nd of April 1998.
I wonder what numbers 10 to 6 were. If only there was a way of finding out without us listening to the old show we did only releasing this week, James.
Well, here's the thing. According to the stats on our website, more people listen to the second halves than listen to the first halves.
That's worrying.
Oh, by the way, I'm James Cook.
I'm Andy Robinson, by the way, too.
Here's numbers 10 to 6.
Let's do it.
Down 3 to number 10, it's Here's Where the Story Ends by Tintin Out featuring Shelley Nelson.
A cover version, but arguably a stronger one.
Down 4 to number 9, No, No, No by Destiny's Child.
Yes, 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 Destiny's Child.
At 1 to 8, Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden.
I really love that song.
Oh, shut up. Down 3 to number 7, it's Stop by the Spice Girls.
Hey, Spice Girls, thank you very much for making this tune.
Down 4 to 6, Let Me Entertain You by Robbie Williams.
It is entertaining and possibly the greatest opening song for a concert ever.
All those songs, all the songs we're talking about today, and another 6 songs can be found on our playlists. The links are in the description to Spotify and to YouTube.
Why would there be another 6 songs that aren't in the top 10?
Well, here's the thing.
What?
If you join our Patreon community, we have a bonus tracks podcast in which we talk about those half a dozen songs. These are half a dozen songs that never make the top 10, but that are in the chart.
We do that every week. Are you recording those conversations we have about those 6 songs that never made the top 10?
I've been secretly recording them and putting them out for our very special followers.
Thank you.
As a special treat, here's a little preview of what those are like. Drums keep pounding a rhythm to my brain, Andy. A la-di-da-di-dee, a la-di-da-di-da.
It's a drunk bloke lurching around the city centre holding a kebab.
Yeah.
They say if you record a song and it just touches one person, it's probably a shit song.
Join our community now at patreon.com/ShoobyPodcast.
Number 5.
I Get Lonely. This week at number 5 by Janet Jackson.
Oh, you're playing with the form again. Yes, a new entry for Janet Jackson. Let me ask you this, Andy.
Yeah?
Is this song made of lettuce?
How do you mean?
Because it's a little gem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had no memory of this song at all.
Yeah.
But listening to it this week, I've been really enjoying it. It's really good. It sounds contemporary.
Yes.
For now, 26 years later.
I like it when this happens when both of us or either of us gets sort of discovers a record and gets enthused by it. That's why we recommend you listen to the Spotify or YouTube playlist attached to it, because it, some great things about it, isn't there?
Yeah. Janet Jackson said about the song, it takes me back to a place of loss, about having lost a lover, wanting the lover back, and dreaming of the time when the dream is fulfilled. The vibe is bittersweet.
Yep.
So you're all right with that, are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, but when Savage Garden do it, you're all like...
Look, it is not the sentiment, it is the execution. And if you're comparing the execution of I Get Lonely by Janet Jackson to...
All right.
Come on. I mean, did you watch the video?
No.
Good. I mean, she is dancing around it. I have to say, it was reminiscent because of the style and the fashion. And I have to say, the dance moves of Smooth Criminal by her brother. That's all right, isn't it? If anyone can nick a bit of No, not even nicking Jackson's, is it? It's all within them, isn't it? This kind of stuff.
She did that song Scream. That would have been a year later or the same year.
With Michael,
yeah.
With her brother, yeah, great. And yeah, I mean, I didn't love it as much as you, but tell me all about it. Tell me some more about it. Who wrote it? Who sang it? Who produced it? Who?
Janet Jackson sang it.
Yeah.
I thought you'd know that.
Do you think she sounds a little bit like she's got a cold on it a little bit though? There's some consonants are slightly muffled, aren't they?
I hadn't noticed, but now I will listen to it. It was written by Janet Jackson with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We've spoken of them before, the production duo. And her then husband, Rene Elizondo. It's kind of weird that you'd do a song with your husband called I Get Lonely. It feels like a very pointed thing to be saying.
Again, only if you are writing from the autobiographical point of view, they might be having some fun.
Where would you have seen Rene Elizondo's hands on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine in 1993?
I would, on Janet Jackson's breasts.
Yep, those are his hands.
Cool.
He is the hand bra.
Keep it within the family, unlike that rotter Justin Timberlake who exposed her during the Super Bowl.
And that kind of killed her career.
Yep.
And it seems such a minor thing.
So minor, so racist, so misogynist.
Which is a damn shame. Because, when she was good, she was really, really good.
And when she was bad, she was better.
Well, who did Janet Jackson duet with on her first UK Top 100 hit?
I can't remember.
Yeah. It only gets to number 83, and it was in 1984.
Is it someone, let's say, dodgy? It's not the...
It's not someone dodgy, which has been proved, but it's someone you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, go on.
Cliff Richard.
Did she?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Janet Jackson's first UK hit. Well, not a hit. It gets to number 83 in the charts. Is that a hit? Are we counting that?
No. Cliff himself would be disgusted with that.
Yeah. It's a song called Two to the Power.
Okay.
And it's Janet Jackson and Cliff Richard together at last.
I'm listening to that later. How did that come about? Do you think Janet Jackson and the Cliff Richard collab?
Through a church, presumably. I have no idea.
Poor old Cliff being accused of this, that, and the... I love Cliff Richard, as you know. I feel that's a terrible thing to happen to a man in life, isn't it?
Summer Holiday was on telly yesterday.
Was it good? Did you watch it?
No, it's a film that my wife's watched loads of times.
And
I have never seen all the way through.
Well done, Linz. I
just seen bits
appreciate
of
that. I saw an advert for being on the bus the other day, James. You know, in Birmingham, very much trying to encourage people to catch a bus a la Summer Holiday. The advert made it look like the bus was there was a party happening going on it. It looked so great. It looked like a little nightclub, as opposed to some depressed people and people playing some music too loud and someone eating some chips right next to you.
It sounds like a party to me.
Actually, when I put it like that, it sounds pretty good. I'm going to throw a little quiz on you, James, about as Janet Jackson gets lonely. I'll throw some quotes at you. You have to tell me who said them. Yeah? About the notion of loneliness. This is one. Loneliness adds beauty to life. It puts a special burn on sunsets and makes night air smell better.
All right, these are pop stars who said this, is it?
In this case,
Okay, so
you're saying loneliness adds beauty to life?
so it must be someone pretty beautiful, because when I'm alone, I don't think, wow, this is beautiful.
Even as a family man, sometimes with a little bit of peace, James, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not sometimes welcome. I'm just saying I wouldn't describe it as beautiful.
Okay.
But that it makes sunsets better.
A special burn?
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like someone who's justifying why they're alone.
All right.
It's all right. I like being alone because sunsets are better.
I'll give you a little clue who it might be then. If this quote was a meme, let's say, and it showed the author in a photograph, he'd probably be raising a middle finger to you whilst saying it.
Billy Idol?
No, good guess. It was Henry Rollins.
Oh, okay. We counting him as a pop star.
Yeah, I liked any musician. I like in this world. I just think it's just good to call everybody pop stars. We're doing the charts, aren't we? I mean, they're popular. This isn't a pop star, so get your head around this. Too much self-centered attitude, you see, brings, you see, isolation, result, loneliness, fear, anger. The extreme self-centered attitude is a source of suffering.
Sounds like Yoda. DJ Yoda, maybe.
Yeah, good guess.
Unless that's quite a long quote, isn't it?
Yeah. The Dalai Lama.
The famous pop star, the Dalai Lama.
I said it wasn't a pop star before I introduced it, if you were listening. No. All right, then.
You don't see that quote on one of his, Facebook posts in the back of a sunset. I suppose if you looked at that and you were alone, it would burn more.
This is a relevant pop star. There were times when I had great times with my brothers, pillow fights and things, but I always used to cry from loneliness.
Okay, so there's a clue there. Brothers, plural,
Yes.
so it's not just one brother. Yeah. Someone who's got many brothers. So obviously there's a few bands where there are brothers. The Gap Band, for example. Toto.
Yes.
There's 3 brothers in it. But I'm guessing it's Michael Jackson.
It is Michael Jackson. Relevantly, since Janet... Maybe they should have got together. Janet Jackson's going about how lonely she is. Maybe she just rung her brother up.
And apparently that makes them want to scream.
Let's do one more and get out of Dodge. Here's a pop star saying something about loneliness. He or she is saying loneliness comes with the life. Like the same way you get a kind of, a Happy Meal comes with a little plastic toy.
You want to be a pop star, right? You're going to have to be lonely as well.
Yes.
Morrissey.
It would be Whitney Houston. I'm still going to listen to Cliff Richard, though, later.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on.
Number 4.
A new entry at number 4. All I Want Is You by 911. That is the name. The group is called 911. Every time I see it written down, do you know what I want to say?
Go on.
9/11.
Yes.
They're not called 9/11. That would be a very different group. And can I just clarify that they had broken up before September the 11th, 2001, which is probably a good thing. because I don't think they would have lasted much longer after that.
No, if they wouldn't play some records because of sensitive words.
Yeah.
We're just going, this is 911.
That's why there wasn't a boy band called Al Qaeda. So yeah, 911. They were one of them boy bands, weren't
Yes.
they? That were knocking around in the late 90s, trying to cash in on the demise of Take That and to jump into the void.
Yeah.
Can you think of any 911 songs off the top of your head?
Nope, I was not familiar with them. I heard this song, I vaguely remembered playing it. I mean, even BRMB wouldn't play this record very much. I don't know why. I liked it.
Obviously, they had fans at the time who will know all their songs, but they didn't appear to have much cut through into sort of mainstream pop. I mean, even there are some Westlife songs that I recognise if I hear them.
Did you remember this song?
Nope.
Do you find Jimmy Lee or Spike a real dreamboat?
Yeah, I find them all to be dreamboaty, obviously.
I mean, I didn't know this song, couldn't remember it. I heard it, James. Bearing in mind what I said about Savage Garden, I love this song this week.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
it actually, did its job.
What
if
a
you know
twist!
what I mean.
If I'm going to be unkind, this is landfill boy band songs.
Do you think?
Yeah,
Okay,
I felt this was very generic.
it is generic. That's for sure.
It's called "All I Want Is You,"
Yes.
which is quite a well-used song title.
You too used it.
Yep. U2 and 911 have the joint most successful "All I Want Is You's" on the UK charts. They both got to number 4. Can you think of any other people who've released songs
I feel I
and
should
got into the top?
Go on, give me some clues. Like a game. Is it the Dalai Lama?
2 of them have been sung by people called Brian.
Brian McFadden sounds
No.
like he would have done one.
No.
Brian Ferry might have done one.
Yes, when he was in Roxy Music. They get to
Okay.
number 12 in 1974.
And Brian Cant, the old play school producer.
No.
Brian from Malo.
Come on. Brian with a Y.
Brian Adams.
Brian Adams had a song
Course.
called "All I Want Is You,"
Darn
number
it.
22 in 1992. And also in 2002, a group called Bellfire got to number 18.
Okay, so you were talking about, let's call it the cookie cutter formulaic element to this song. Would you say that's true?
It just feels harsh to say because it's fine.
It is. I'm going to say a classic case of songwriting. It's got that chord, the let's call it the 1-6-4-5 chord change. It's like A, D, D, you know I think it's true. F sharp minor, D, 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 D. You know I'm falling. Whatever it goes. So helplessly it's true. Yeah, okay. But that chord change is, when the night has come. Same chords. And the land is, and also, let's go another one. I mean, loads of people, another one who's used it is, nice to meet you, where you been? I can show you incredible things like Taylor Swift. There's this chord change. That old, it's a standard. I suppose you could say from listening to it that it's familiar and slightly dull, if you like. But I thought they did a great job of it. Whoever wrote this song this week, just a silly little pop song, but beautiful. I listened to it and sort of imagined it was the Shirelles or the Ronettes singing. It sounds like it could be one of those old songs, if you know what I mean. And that I sometimes do that if I'm not amazingly inspired by a song, I just pretend someone else is singing it sometimes.
It was co-written by Lee from 911. Lee had quite the life, even before he was in the group.
Oh, go on.
He had cancer twice as a child.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But also captained Carlisle United's under-14s and under-16s. Had a lot going on in his life.
Man.
And then he was in 911. They were hugely successful. They sold 10 million singles and 6 million albums.
Really?
Yeah.
So they might be living high in the lap of luxury back in the day when you could earn money from selling songs. Even.
Yeah.
Did they write it, you say?
Lee did.
Yeah, well,
Lee was a co-writer on this with another guy. They split in 2000. Jimmy took it very badly, saying, I found myself in my old single bed with a bottle of Jack Daniels and a bottle of painkillers and thought about ending it there and then.
Did he decide instead to fly a plane into the to the Twin Towers?
No, he didn't do that. No. Do you know what Lee does now?
No.
He promotes pantomimes in Vietnam. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Have you been to see pantomimes in Vietnam?
I haven't.
No, because you weren't there, man. Oh, yes, I was.
He's behind you. He's going to kill you.
He's in the trees.
Okay, well, that's a turn up for the books, isn't it?
Yeah. In my head, when I think about, if 911, I just go, oh yeah, they probably were. They were a failed boy band, but they weren't at all. They weren't at all. They did really well.
They were a successful boy band.
Yeah, and it's fools like me for not paying attention.
It was not for us at the time. Like I say, part of the reason we're only familiarising with ourselves is because we do this stupid show every week, and James. So let's be honest.
Yeah,
I loved it though. The bridge modulates for a little bit of songwriting technique. If you're interested in that thing, if not, just listen to it and enjoy it for what it is.
They're just young men,
just young lads,
just young men trying to
do their best. And society decides to kick them. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the plot of West Side Story. Sorry, I got confused.
But there was that vibe among sort of, in inverted commas, proper music fans. That, boy bands, they're evil, yeah.
Well,
and
quite.
you just think they're just having a go. They're just singing songs.
I'm glad to say I never really felt that at some point, despite, let's call it savage guys and little representatives sometimes who annoy me, but along the way. But, the notion of a boy band, as you know, James, I'm always thinking, is a song any good? If I like the song, not even if it's any good, if I enjoy it, I'm in. Thanks 9/11 for your contributions to pop music.
911.
I'm going to call them 9/11. I prefer it. What should 9/11 cover? Leaving on a jet plane, that could do.
The famous song, Jet Fuel Doesn't Melt Steel Beams.
I like it when I've got a friend, let's say, who talks about the jet fuel melting steel beams and let's call it the implausibility of it.
Yeah.
And I think, how do you know? You work in Tesco's. How do you know how steel reacts to the extreme heat? I'm guessing he's looked on the internet.
Yeah.
I remember, though, get this, James. Who'd have thought we'd be talking about this from 911? I remember watching it live. When I was working at this radio station, as I think I mentioned once, my job was writing parody songs. Tragically, when the first plane went in, I was thinking, is anybody dead? If not, I'm going to write a silly little parody song about it, which shows you how mad I was at the time working. You've got that look on you, James, that you're thinking none of this is going to make it in.
Yeah, probably not. 2 days after 9/11, you did
September the 13th.
You did a gig for me for the first time.
Oh, thanks. Another disaster.
We had a minute silence during your act.
Did I? Always. I'm glad with 1 minute. Okay, well, I'm sure 911 will be delighted with the way this conversation's gone. Well done for your contributions to, let's call it, world history.
Number 3.
It's a new entry. Straight in at number 3. It's Sash with La Primavera.
I have to confess, I got a lot confessing about things I got wrong this week.
Yes.
I thought Sash was one bloke.
Okay, is it not?
No, it's 3 Germans. I thought it was like Dario G or something like that, but it's not. Sash is 3 blokes.
I think 9/11 might have softened me up this week. I mean, I've loved this record this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got into it for weirdly. I don't know why.
To me, it sounds like the kind of music they play at corporate award ceremonies or at the World Cup draw.
Absolutely. It's got all that vibe about it. And despite all that, or maybe because of all that, I was digging it.
Because they had other hits. They had Encore une fois and Ecuador, sort of most notably. At least like Encore une fois is feels like a dance tune. This feels too twee. Be a floor filler.
It's pretty twee, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is almost inconsequential, and yet that's part of its appeal to me.
Number 3 in the charts. When I hear it, what I hear is I hear Richard Madeley's voice going, coming up on the rest of this morning at 11 o'clock. It just sounds like incidental music from daytime TV.
I don't dispute that. The video makes it look like a holiday advert. It's a car driving around a, beautiful cliffside scenery. It's certainly insipid. All week I've been singing, it's la primavera. It's nice to meet you in this week's top 10. Oh, Sash, it was nice to hear you. Let's say it's all over. I probably won't listen again. Something like that. I've been singing to it, despite my enjoyment of it.
But there are lyrics.
Yes.
They are in Italian.
Yes.
And translated, the lyrics are, listen, so give me your hand. I would let you discover the most beautiful spring weather, the spring of love. I'm ready. That's the lyrics.
Okay.
Yep.
The beautiful Italian tongue, so romantic.
Yeah. Here's a little fun fact. The first 4 hits by Sash are in 4 different languages.
Really?
Yes.
Multilingual Sash.
Yeah, Encore une fois in French, Ecuador in Spanish, Stay in English, and La Primavera in Italian. Even though they're German, they didn't do one in German, which is probably good. Probably for the best, isn't it?
Quite. As someone on YouTube says, Fast Cars No Rules 220. He said, this sounds like a Eurodance version of Chariots of Fire. Which I thought was pretty good.
There is that vibe to it, yeah. I mean, it's not great.
Nope, I would never say it's great. I would never say, but like I say, 911 softened me up. I was receptive to it. I'm usually quite dismissive, aren't I, about an insipid instrumental.
I just think anything after you've listened to Savage Garden, you're going to think is amazing. After Savage Garden, you're going to think this is Bach.
Quite.
Do you know what Sash's original name were?
Nope.
Careca.
Oh, go on.
Do you know who Careca was?
No.
He was a footballer, played for Brazil in the 80s.
Number 2.
A non-mover at number 2. Former number 1. It's My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. The second biggest selling single in the UK of 1998. Behind which other diva?
Would it be... Go on. Is it Elton John?
No.
Who?
A lady diva.
Oh, man. Go on.
Cher.
Okay.
And Believe.
Okay.
That was the biggest selling single of the year. This single sells over 1 million in the UK, 18 million worldwide. It is the world's biggest selling single of 1998 and the second best-selling physical single by a female. After...
Cher.
No. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Which is also a big ballad from a movie.
It's almost like the movie helped the promotional push.
And vice versa.
Doesn't do it so much anymore. I know that's bollocks, actually. Ignore the fact that I said that. There are some songs because there are some songs from like Justin Timberlake had that one a while ago from like Millions.
That was a while ago, though. They used to be all the time.
Yeah, it used to be all the time.
And now, the love theme from Oppenheimer didn't get in the charts, did it?
Nope.
From the movie Titanic.
Also, James, this is incredibly crucial. I say this before we delve into, let's call it the Titanic phenomenon. This is a record that's got a key change in this week. Oh, say thank you. I feel much better
quite
now.
a pronounced key change.
It's a big one. It comes in, I think, during the pre-chorus again, which knocks you off your feet a little bit. I mean, the good thing about Celine Dion is she doesn't lose any games of musical statues at the moment. I'm being stupid, of course.
Did you see her at the Olympics ceremony?
It was so touching. That's
really
just
good.
a joke. That's just a joke.
I'm not a Celine Dion fan, but she was really good.
Yeah. It was great to see her after a terrible, debilitating disease that I just made a stupid joke about.
So the story behind this is that Celine Dion doesn't want to do the song, but her husband talks her into it, and she says, all right, I'll cut a demo. The vocal on the track that's released is the first take of the demo.
So I read on YouTube comments.
She just nailed it first time.
Yeah. So
put that out.
This version, she's not overly familiar with. First take, one track, and it's only the demo, and yet she sings it like that.
Yeah, and that's, whatever you think of the song, that's incredibly impressive.
Yeah, man.
It's not my thing.
Celine Dion or this song?
Both.
I mean, the song itself, the structure, it's got an intro, there's a verse, there's a pre-chorus, there's a chorus that happens twice, and then for the end, they bring in the intro again. I mean, it is as staple as you get, really. And I think that's part of the reasons for its, let's call it, long legacy and ever-during popularity.
Meandering and dreary.
It's in no rush for sure. Who said that?
Not my words.
Yeah.
The words of Walter Afanasieff, one of the track's producers, called it that. James Cameron also didn't want it at the end of the film because he thought having a pop song would make the movie too commercial. Bearing in mind, he's talking about the movie Titanic there, that he made more commercial by sticking on a really badly written love triangle love story at the beginning.
I have never seen Titanic. I'm aware of its cultural this, that and the other, so tell me all about it.
Right, here's my opinion of the movie Titanic.
Yeah.
Some people are very, very scathing about it. Here's what I will say. Start watching it about an hour and a half in. When the ship hits the iceberg and it starts to sink, everything after that, it's exciting, it's technically well made, it's gripping. Everything in the lead up to that is hokey and cliched and cringy, in my opinion.
Okay.
That's what I think.
It's only an opinion,
yeah,
as opposed to Savage Garden, which is fact.
Music by James Horner. Lyrics by Will Jennings. We spoke of Will Jennings, do you remember?
No.
He wrote Valerie.
Oh, okay. The
by
Stevie Wood song that Eric Prydz used his pornographic video for.
Yes. Becomes the first Canadian artist to win Record of the Year at the Grammys, as well as a Golden Globe, as well as an Oscar. So she's not an EGOT, she's a GOG, Grammy, Oscar, Golden Globe.
I like this song a lot.
Do you know who else likes this song?
No.
and is therefore the same as you.
Who?
Donald Trump. He plays it at most of his rallies, including the one on January the 6th, 2021.
A big day.
Yeah.
All right. Does he?
Inspired a lot of people to do a lot of things.
Has Celine not asked him to cease and desist like every other pop star does when he chooses a record?
I don't know if she's asked him to cease and desist. She has expressed bafflement.
Right, yeah. How do you feel about Celine Dion as an entity, James, just generally?
I have no strong feelings either way. I'm glad that she brings pleasure to other people.
Yes.
It's not my kind of thing.
There's a great book by a fella called Carl Wilson called Let's Talk About Love, which is ostensibly about Celine Dion, but it's about many other things. The subtitle of it is Why Other People Have Such Bad Taste. So I suppose it's we talk about this sometimes in this podcast, I'm going to say, not as maybe as eloquently as Carl Wilson does, but it's a notion of sometimes a bit like when you mentioned the production earlier, it didn't suit it because it was too clean. There's a lot of essays in this book about the nature of, let's call it popular music, the middle of the road elements of it sometimes. And this fella, he's kind of pointing out this is just taste really, and it's a question of aesthetics, and people can get too hung up on either the identity of it or what it's. No, often people are concentrating on what something is not rather than what it is. I feel a little bit with pop music. They're going, it's not this, it's not that, it should be that, it should be this, but it kind of forgets everything else it is doing. I hear people like talk about ELO sometimes. It sounds too clean. And I think, well, that's what it sounds like. That's what they wanted. So I am recommending Let's Talk About Love by Carl Wilson, if my recommendations mean anything to you.
What
do they, James? Do my recommendations?
Yes, they do.
You can borrow it then. I've got it right here.
What does he say about Celine Dion?
Well, he's kind of pointing out how transgressive she is, really. Like when, what I remember of it, like when Hurricane Katrina hit, like she was out and about, giving it the big one, talking about the tragedy of it all, how people got let down by government from it. And there's loads of examples of Celine Dion actually not being this staid, middle of the road diva. There's another good one called Faking It, which I recommend highly as well, about I'm a bit, it's one of my favourite subjects, James, authenticity in pop music. So this book, Faking It, for instance, goes on about why is Neil Young heralded as opposed to Billy Joel, who's seen as a bit naff and middle of the road sometimes when he compares their work. He's on about like the idea of Big Bill Broonzy and Lead Belly, I think it was, like the notion of he was like a prison singer, and a lot of white people at the time thought this is authentic. Yet Lead Belly used to walk around in nice suits and sort of dress up as a convict to do his songs, and this convinced, let's call it, people that somehow it was more authentic, you know. It's a good notion, and I think Celine Dion suffers from that a little bit sometimes. Not that she's that bothered, I imagine, about her success. She's got other things on her plate.
I don't think I'm necessarily right. I mean, I do think I'm right. To be honest. I do.
It's one of your defining traits.
It is. I tell you what, there is a bit in this song that gets me every single time.
Yeah, go on.
It's the bit where she goes, once more you open the door. And I always think, don't do that, you're on a boat. Don't open the door.
Maybe Celine was responsible for
maybe.
Titanic.
Maybe
she flew one of the planes into the Twin Towers. I'm liking the way this week's going. It's taking a conspiratorial episode. We are on the internet, James. Come on, dig in. Come on, dig in.
No, I don't want to be one of those.
Thanks for listening. We're only teasing about it and joking. We're not saying it happened. Did it? Celine Dion, of course.
No one,
Celine
one on the internet takes things literally, do they? So we'll be fine.
Celine Dion obviously did not fly a plane into the Twin Towers. It was Barbara Streisand.
Why was there a reported 500,000 more streams of this song in June 2023?
Because of the Olympics ceremony?
June 2023.
Oh, yeah, I got confused. Not for the first time. I don't know.
Because of the Titan submersible disaster.
Why does that make me laugh so much?
I don't know why that's made you laugh, but apparently that disaster made people listen to this song.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So what, people saw that story and immediately went rushing to Celine Dion?
Yeah, let's put my heart will go on.
Well done, the public. Yellow Submarine, they could have chose. Going Down by Bruce Springsteen.
Maybe those songs also had a spike. I don't know. I haven't listened to it.
Trapped by Colonel Abrams.
The UK's number one.
The third week at number one, it is Run DMC versus Jason Nevins with It's Like That, It's Just the Way It Is.
So, yeah, they're versus each other, they're against each other. Who do you think wins?
I think everyone's a winner in this record. I mean, I liked it at the time enough. I have loved it this week. A little bit as it was started with all that time ago, James, when we talked about Tintin Out. I dismissed it at the time. Loved it this week. It happened to me again for number 1.
You didn't like it at the time?
I thought it was all right. I was unbothered. Yet, it has knocked my little socks off this week, hearing it again in a new context.
So this is a remix of Run DMC, an early Run DMC track. And there were quite a lot of remixes knocking around the charts, weren't there? You have alluded to like Brimful of Asher, and it was in the top 40. And, Fatboy Slim was remixing stuff. And he had his tropes, didn't he, Fatboy Slim, when he remixed stuff? It was generally speed it up, put on a big drum beat, have a bit where it breaks down, and he stretches it out.
He feels so good when he does it, James.
Yeah. So he had his tropes as well. But his remixes were quite interesting. I feel that the remix for this is just a big pounding drum.
Yep.
It's like it's been remixed by the guy who stands at the top of the slave ship. You know, the guy with the big drum. He's
Yep.
just banging it.
Absolutely.
Thump, 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 thump.
I think that's what used to make me slightly dismiss it, but this week I found it compelling, kept me on my feet, and let's call it sent me into a slight hypnotic trance, which, is always appealing.
There is slightly more to it than that. There's the bit with the Run DMC and Jam Master J, that bit.
That's the bit of self-reference I was referring to earlier.
Yeah.
Run DMC, Jam Master J.
Yeah, that bit. I think that bit's more interesting.
Yeah,
but
great bit.
I'm waiting for the whole song for that bit.
Oh, really?
I find the rest of it a bit pedestrian, if I'm honest, which is a shame because I think the rap's really good.
Let's talk about the rap and let's talk about the words. This is what appealed to me this week, James. This is what I kind of missed back in 1998.
Yeah, the first line is unemployment at a record high.
Right.
And you think, blimey, here Run DMC with the news.
Yeah. People coming, people going, people born to die.
And now over to Public Enemy with the weather.
And then don't ask me why, because I don't know why. And again, this phrase, I mean, it's a philosophy of some kind. It's like that, and that's the way it is.
Yeah. And then there's a bit about money and bills getting higher every day.
Yeah.
Things going on in other countries.
Waves going on across the sea, street soldiers killing the elderly. Whatever happened to unity? Great.
And there's the bit about, that's kind of been hitting home a bit for me.
Yeah, go on.
You should have gone to school, you could have learned a trade, but you laid in the bed where the bums have laid. Now all the time you're crying that you're underpaid. It's like, this is your own fault.
Yeah.
Right.
Please subscribe to Patreon if you're enjoying this
please.
content. Yeah, I mean,
I promise to stop laying in the bed where the bums have laid. So often I do
James,
that. I look in my bed and I go, have there been bums in here?
But, I'm just going to point out that life is short, homeboy, so I'll give it a thought. Next time someone's teaching you, why don't you get taught? That's all I'm going to say, because it's like that, James. Yeah, I mean, I thought the words were great. I thought they were relevant today. Like I say, almost the throwaway nature of the philosophy, all these trials and tribulations. Why is this happening? Because it's like that. It's just the way it is. I mean, the word, great.
And this is from like 1982, 1983, something like that. And
yeah, man.
Here we are 40 odd years later, and it's still exactly the same. Thanks, Obama.
We are doing it good today, this stupid conspiracy stuff. Thanks, Obama. But what did he do wrong? Something, I'm sure. When Obama was in, loads of pop stars were turning up to play at the White House. There's like a gig being broadcast every week from the White House. It was a great side benefit of his appeal.
Apparently, Jason Nevins was paid $5,000 for this remix, but he would have had a cut of the royalties as well, I should think. And it sold nearly 5 million worldwide, including 1 million in the UK. It was the number 3 single of 1998 behind Celine and Cher.
Yep, man. Which is, like I say, for such a, let's call it anti-authority record, really, something disruptive about this song, isn't there? So I like it being such a big hit at this time.
It was played a lot in the student bar when I was at university around the time. I don't think I ever paid attention to the lyrics.
Nor me, I have to say. Yet here we are.
Yeah, and I should have done. Should have done, and I should have paid heed to it and learned to trade instead of fanning around trying to tell jokes.
That's really hurt you, that line this week, hasn't it? I like the fact that this is stuck in your cranium.
Yeah, could have had a job in a lumber yard.
James, you would last 3 minutes in a lumber yard. You last 5 or 6 when you're doing a gig, don't you?
That's
so that's
true.
pretty good.
Less chance of being booed off in a lumber yard.
Do you seriously think I'd be better off in the lumber yard?
Sometimes.
Blimey,
Don't you
O'Reilly.
think that sometimes?
No,
You think,
you're
God,
joking.
I wish I'd tried harder at something.
I mean, I think that's quite a lot, but that's nothing to do with rather being in a lumber yard.
Could have built this shed.
There's a YouTube comment I particularly liked from King Kicks Mew 3. They're asking, why is this song so catchy? Do you know what the answer is?
No.
Because it's like that. It's just the way it is.
You know, when I saw, we're going to do 1998,
Yeah.
I was thinking, Britpop. Yeah. And there's none of that in
Nope.
this top 10, is there? And I thought, well, I was 20 at the time, so I would be all about this. And then I haven't really. I feel some of this top 10 is a little bit insipid. There's a couple of like hidden gems and there's a couple of big mainstream anthems.
What was your favourite? You know we ask this every week.
Probably Here's Where the Story Ends.
Okay.
Probably back to number 10. Yeah. What about you, man?
Savage Garden, Truly Madly Deeply. I love
What a twist! Who would have seen that coming?
Hey, why don't you... What do we say at the end?
Get them to subscribe to the thing.
Hey, thank you very much for listening. Rate, subscribe, follow, like, share. Not the pop star.
But also the pop star. You
Also.
can like, share, that's fine.
If you are interested in mine and James' unasked for opinions about 6 other songs that are in the UK top 100, but crucially never made the top 10, then please subscribe to Patreon.
Yeah, it's the only chance you'll ever get to hear us talk about these songs, and it does include 3 songs that I had on CD single at the time and that I was all about, including one that's a little bit dirty.
I'm there for it. Remind you to listen to these songs in the playlist attached to the descriptions if you want. I mean, we always like to say it, James, don't we? It's worth doing.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
Actually, is it worth doing this week?
No, it is worth doing. It's definitely worth doing it. You go and listen to the Janet Jackson one, particularly, because I think that's really good. Listen to the Savage Garden one. See if you get as angry about it as Andy does. Oh, he's going again. He's fuming. And, you know, listen to the Sash one if you're doing a get up and get motivated weekend at your office.
Or listen to Robbie Williams if you just want to enjoy life. I was being ridiculous. It's a great top 10. There's loads of joys in it. And some hardships, but that's true of life, isn't it?
So thanks so much for listening. Until next time, shooby-dooby-doo up.
And bop, bop, shoe up.